Happy to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me here. Let me start on this topic of redefining narratives by saying a statement. Over the last 30 years, I've found that the powerlessness is really with the powerful. How do we change that? How do we redefine the narrative? My own journey started unconsciously in this sphere. When just fresh out of management degree, XLRI, 4 months into my job, I was faced with a union. It was an electronics firm in one of the extremely militant industrial belts of India, North India. 80% of our workers were women, and the union leader was a feisty woman, Kamlesh. She led the discussions, she negotiated with the management, she served an ultimatum calling for a strike. I and my manager, a 2-member team, had to deal with her as she negotiated with them. She had to give in to our discussions. She negotiated with the workers. She negotiated with the external management team. I and she were the main people. She, a class 10th pass, village woman. Me, a management graduate. She 21 years old, me 24 years old. I think of Kamlesh often. Over the next few years, I traveled on work in Punjab during the post-Operation Blue Star, height of Sikh militancy. Then Operation Woodrose. In Assam during the Ulfa agitation. I traveled in rickety buses, sometimes on trains, taxis, and occasional flight. I've been stopped by police in Punjab because I was traveling during curfew. I've spent hours on a train in the middle of nowhere, second class. That's all the company could afford. Those were those days. Because rail roko agitation was going on. I've dressed up as a Karbi Anglong because Ulfa were rounding up Bengalis. And even one scary time, when the small airport in US where I was shut for the night and I had no place to stay. None of it seemed to me brave. None of it seemed to me that is as if I was empowered or I was doing something out of the ordinary. It needed to be done, and that was it. This happened to me in the Indias of the late 80s and early 90s. Somewhere around that time, from late 90s to early 2000, we started seeing women at work. We started seeing women. And that's the time when more women, particularly from the educated backgrounds, started coming to work. While female labor force participation was still low, because the poorer sections started withdrawing from work, it's the educated who started coming forward. Suddenly, data on what is it that one is missing became in the forefront. I realize now that me, like all others, are routinely passed up for career advancement. That however good a point you have, that your voice is not heard, the male voice is heard. That you are told what jobs are acceptable, what is socially confirmed, how to behave in office, how to behave outside, how to dress, how to talk, where to go, where not to go. And that was like, to me, a new realization. Do we need to be empowered? Labels are easily ascribed to women. It was always there. And in spite of that, I grew up with several role models in my own head. People that I knew, people I didn't know, people I'd only heard of. I don't know how many of you have heard of Fearless Nadia, a stunt woman in India, 1960s. Half Indian, half American Jewish. Rani Jhansi. It was a powerful image. She on a horse, astride, and holding a sword. Captain Lakshmi Sehgal, Kiran Bedi, Indira Nui. Women with power, courage, fortitude. In that narrative, probably I was missing that there are many, many others who could probably be, what is the word, empowered. The Oxford Dictionary defines empowered as the act of giving somebody the authority to act. Cambridge Dictionary says it's the process by which somebody is given the power to act as per authority and power. The term women empowerment came into the popular imagination somewhere around late 90s, leftist, global movement across the world started in Europe to give grassroots organizations the power to get women to exercise their right. Suddenly, empowerment became all about women. Women needed to be empowered. Women needed empowerment to move into the corner office. Women needed empowerment to fight a sexual harasser, whether on the mat or on the court. Women needed to be provided the right to get the loan from a bank, which the bank manager will not ordinarily give because she's a woman. But do we need to be empowered? I think of Komal, a girl I met fairly recently. A young 20-something, Komal is a hospitality graduate from Mithila in Bihar. I met her at a campsite at Dhordo, miles away from her house. Dhordo is dry. She's working there as a temporary position, staying in a tented accommodation. When I asked her what about her future, she said she's also done a course in aviation management and she might get a job as a cabin crew. And I'm looking at her and thinking, okay, jobs are not that easy. Almost as if sensing my dismay, she says, I can be a stand-up comic too. I'm a good stand-up comic. I'm humorous. Komal is a regular girl. I'm sure you all know plenty of people like her. I'm sure you all know women who stand up for themselves. People with courage and fortitude, your mother, grandmother, aunt, cousin, friends, you. People who can do that because men and community in their life have exercised the power to give her that right. They are the ones who are empowered. The woman always, always had it. In the story of women empowerment, it is this that comes to the forefront. When you are allowed the right to exercise what you can do because somebody in your community or the people around you provided you that right. Imagine how many, many more women can be allowed to express what they can because that was allowed. That's the shifting of the power. That's how we redefine narrative. In a recent ADP survey, interestingly, survey was carried out for corporate executives, over 70% women felt they have the capacity and the competence to move up. A similar question was not asked of the men, because men either have it or they will get it. Irfan is somebody we helped set up a business. We provided loan to her. We helped registered her company, successful garment retail business, till her father and her uncle and her husband took it over. Is that empowerment? I think women are empowered. It's the men in the community that needs to get educated and needs to get empowered. It's not so much about beti bachao, beti padhao, but beta padhao, beti bachao. I'm hoping for a time when the hiring manager asks men the question, and what about marriage? How will you handle life after marriage? What about children? How will you take care of them? Of the bank manager who does not deny women the loan, but instead asks the male who comes in the questions that he normally asks the woman. What about your business plan? Is your wife supporting you? Is she helping you with the business? Does she understand your work? Have you taken her permission? It's about the mother-in-law who will help the family, her daughter-in-law, by arranging to take care of family and kids while she's away at work. That's the narrative that needs to get changed. 20 years back, I left a corporate career to move into what I believe the real human resources happens in the real world, the potential for people to make a difference. I work with women, I work with differently abled, I work with women, micro and nano entrepreneurs, the youth, anybody, helping them shift the story, helping them move and exercise the power, getting it from the ones who have the power and they are powerless to act. I'm going to close with the story of Asha Devi. Asha Devi stays in Rarban, Saharanpur. I met her a few years back just after COVID. Her husband had lost his job. It was a happy family, making ends meet. Asha Devi decided to do business. She told me she will sell aloo dum masala. Her aloo dum masala is lip smacking and everybody loves it. But how will you go about selling, I asked. And she said, she will go on a cycle door to door, just like the MDH guy. What about your husband? Will your family allow? What about your in-laws? And she said, my husband is very supportive. He will take care of the kids and the family. We share Asha Devi's husband story often as an example of somebody who has shifted his powerlessness to power. If he can do it, what are we waiting for? All of urban India, men and the community. Let's redefine the narrative. It's not women empowerment, it's men and community need education. Thank you very much.